Mr. Elwyn R. Sprottle, purveyor of remarkably modern wig-warmers and—" he glanced around haughtily. "Intimate apparel." "Underwear," explained the boy, his cheeks flushed scarlet. "Oh," said Lil. "I was on my way to Countess Hollingcroft's estate to attend one of her exclusive soirees when my coach was delayed by that disgraceful quagmire at Eggeer Bottom. If it wasn't for that stable boy and his cow, we'd be stuck there now, sinking ever deeper into the freezing sludge." He sniffed again, but a dribble from his nose dropped onto the front of his coat, where it glistened like a slug trail. "I'm convinced I've caught a chill." The only reason anyone ended up staying at the Squawking Mackerel was purely down to Lil's muck-manoeuvring efforts. There was a muddy puddle of epic proportions 1/4 mile down the road, just before the turn-off for the inn. Sensing an opportunity to divert the coaching traffic and penny tips her way, Lil had blocked up the drainage ditches with mouldy cabbages, rotten turnips, and leftover dumplings. The resulting mudslick ensnared even the sleekest of coaches, and by the time the stranded travellers could persuade that thick-headed oaf Arthur Boot to haul their carriage wheels out of the mess, it was usually too late for them to travel on anywhere else. So they had no choice but to arrive wet and grumpy at the doors of the inn. Tomorrow they would moan about the lumpy beds and itchy blankets, but tonight the guests were at the mercy of Ma Scroggins's cauliflower and pigeon liver relish. "Some soup will help with that, sir, and a nice cosy bed for the night," Lil replied diplomatically. "When will my room be ready?" "A few minutes," said Lil cheerfully. Or rather, whenever Marjorie could pull her gaze away from the mirror and actually get on with some work. Marjorie wasn't Lil's real sister, nor was Ma Scroggins her real ma, thank goodness. But they might as well be. Phyllis, or Lil as everyone called her, had been a part of the family for as long as she could remember. An unpaid skivvy, more like. Lil was about to holler Marjorie's name when Arthur Boot exploded through the door of the inn in a blast of cold air and cow dung. "They's been robbed blind!" he exclaimed to a stunned room. A barrel-bellied gentleman burst in past him, thwacking the door against the wall with a mighty crack. Some kind of lord, by the looks of him, thought Lil. Mr. Sprottle tried to shuffle his precious suitcases out of the way, but the lord was oblivious as he barged into the inn, flicking dirty rainwater from his cape. He was followed by a staggering, mud-splattered lady with ringlets plastered to her face, and 2 bedraggled girls in soggy pink bonnets. As the lady realised she'd reached dry ground, she swept her arm above her head, placed the back of her hand upon her brow, and declared, "The horror!" She then collapsed to the floor in a dead faint. The room erupted. Gentlemen rose to their feet in outrage. "Madam, sir, my very goodness!" Ladies fluttered their fans in sympathy. Clearly, neither the lord nor the lady was blind, but they had indeed been robbed. "He was a savage fiend!" exclaimed the lord. "Savage," confirmed Arthur. "He manhandled my manservant and looted our trunks." "The devil!" Arthur again. "He rifled our pockets, bold as brass. With his own filthy mitts." "Nasty man," Arthur nodded. Ma Scroggins had rushed over to administer to the lady, who had collapsed into a puddle of her own silks. Her wig had popped off in the commotion, so Ma shoved it back on her head, though it may have been back to front. "What did he look like?" asked Ma, shocked. "About 6 feet tall," the lord continued. "A giant," added Arthur. "He was unshaven and grubby. He had the most terrible dark, twitchy eyes and a most unpleasant, fetid, He screwed up his